The winner of the silver medal representing Uttarakhand. Please put your hands together for Arjun Sharma. Now I would like to request Mr. Ravindran Shankar sir to kindly present the medal to the athlete. Now, I would like to request Mr. Shambhu Seth sir to kindly present the souvenir to the athlete. Last time for gold. The winner of the gold medal at 38 National Games Uttarakhand 2025, representing SSCB Service Team. Please put your hands together for Arjun Namdev. Now, I would like to request Mr. Ravindran Shankaran sir to kindly present the medal to the winner. Now, I would like to request Mr. Shambhu Seth sir to kindly present the souvenir to the athlete. Thank you so much, sir. Now, requesting the dignitaries and the winners to get in the front of the podium for official photograph.
Standard technical official, please report. Standard technical official, please report.
I request our guest to be present over there. Congratulations, achiever. We thank our esteemed guest for joining us today. Now I would like to introduce 38 National Games Uttarakhand 2025, sponsored by Clear as Hydration Partner and Indian Oil Corporation Limited as a bronze partner. Be safe as hygiene and well-being partner. Thank you. Now I'd request Mr. Suhail Ahmed sir, CEO, Wushu Association of India, to give the token of appreciation to our respected guest, Mr. Ravindran Shankaran sir and Mr. Shambhu Seth sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Standard technical official, please report. Standard technical official, please report. All standard technical official.
Hello. ना मैंने तो बिना पानी के दी बैटरी लो पंजाब रेड, असम ब्लू। ऑल सांडा टेक्निकल ऑफिशियल सांडा टेबल पर रिपोर्ट करें। मिस्टर वेंकटेश, मिस्टर वेंकटेश फ्रॉम आंध्र प्रदेश, सांडा टेक्निकल ऑफिशियल सांडा टेबल पर रिपोर्ट करें। मिस्टर सुनील फ्रॉम बिहार,
All technical official, Sanda technical official, please report. Sanda technical official, please report.
पंजाब रेड, असम ब्लू। पंजाब रेड, असम ब्लू। नेक्स्ट शुभम गौरा राजस्थान रेड, शुभम उत्तराखंड ब्लू। नेक्स्ट है मैडम राजस्थान, नेक्स्ट है, अभी तो पंजाब है। पंजाब रेड, असम ब्लू।
अब लाइव क्यों चला? लाइव क्यों चलता है?
लाइव है
यहाँ का लाइव नहीं है इस बार, ये हर बार लाइव है, यूट्यूब लाइव उन्होंने लगवाया नहीं लाइव। Giri! Hey! Catch it! Team! Catch it!
Next bout below 75 kg. Bout number 117. Shubham Gora, Rajasthan, red side. Shubham Uttarakhand, blue side.
Catch it! Catch it!
Next below 80 kg male. Bout number 118. Gukesh Yadav, Rajasthan, red side. Ishu, Haryana, blue side.
Catch it!
First round win, red side.
Giri! Bye! Catch!
Second round win, blue side. Bout goes to third round.
We have the guest with us, Mr. Sairam Jakar Sir, Chief the Mission, छत्तीसगढ़. उनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस्टर डी रवि कोंडैया, सेक्रेटरी छत्तीसगढ़ वुशु एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए मिस्टर साईराम जाकर जी के लिए.
Round and bout win, blue side. Khudra from Assam. Shubham Gora, Rajasthan. Shubham, Uttarakhand. Rajasthan red, Uttarakhand blue. Platform judge, Mr. Shashank from Delhi.
75 kg, second semi-final, right side, Gora, blue side.
Opang, Lempang.
Fire, fight, fight.
Opang, Lempang. Easy. Pay. Hush. Hey. You pay. Hush. Hey. E. R. Son. 4 5 6 7 8 lần phang P hay thing lần phang
Vikas Yadav, Rajasthan, red side. Ishu, Haryana, blue
hay
side.
thing stop change
Round and bout win, blue side. Red side. Shubham Gora from Rajasthan. Vikas Yadav, Rajasthan. Ishu, Haryana. Next bout, Yogesh from Haryana, red side. Rajni Divori from SSCB, blue side. Platform judge. Rajasthan, Haryana. Platform judge Mr. Vijay from Uttarakhand.
जा जल्दी आइए ताकि मैं झेल लूँगा
Love for Giri,
Next bout, Yogesh from Haryana, red side. Rajni Divori, SSCB, blue side. Next to next, below 85 male, bout number 120. Lavish Kumar, Uttarakhand, red side. Tokchom Jorajit Singh, Manipur, blue side. First round win, blue side. Rajasthan team coach, only 2. Next bout, Yogesh Kumar. Haryana, red side. Rajni Diwari, SSCB, blue side. Below 85 kg. Next to next. Lois Kumar, Uttarakhand, red side. Jodajit, Manipur, blue side.
Ting. Hoffer. Kush.
Oh, Yadav, yes, Sam.
Ting. Hoffer.
Change.
Ting.
Round and bordering, blue side. Issue from Haryana. Yogesh Haryana, Rajni Diwari, SSCB.
Gora bhai.
Next bout, Lavis Kumar, Uttarakhand, red side. Jodajit Singh, Manipur, blue side. Platform judge, Mr. Shashank Pal, Delhi. Round and bout winner, blue side, Rajni Diwari, SSCB. Lavis Kumar, Uttarakhand, red, Manipur, blue. Next bout, below 85 kg, male, Naveen, SSCB, red side, Rohit, Haryana, blue side. Next to next, below 90 kg, male, Nitesh, Haryana, red side, Rohit, Haryana, blue side.
Oh, Pang. Easy. Hey.
Next bout, below 85 male, Naveen Kumar, SSCB, red side, Rohit, Haryana, blue side. Next to next, Nitesh, Haryana, red side, Rohit, Haryana, blue side, below 90 kg male. First round win, blue side.
Hô Phan, lên Phan. Hô Phan. Lên Phan. PRG, Ipe, Kais. Hey. Hô Phan, Ipe, Kais. Hey. Hô Phan, Linh Phan. Ipe, Kais. Hey. Hô Phan, Linh Phan. Ipe, Kais. Hey. Hô Phan. Ipe, Kais. Hey. Kais. Hey. Ipe, Kais. Hey. Hô Phan. Change.
Change.
Lên Phan.
Round and bout win blue side, Jyotirjit Singh, Manipur. Bout number 121, Naveen, SSCB, red side, Rohit, Haryana, blue side. SSCB, red, Haryana, blue. Platform judge, Mr. Vijay from Uttarakhand.
Hô Phan, Hô Phan. Rohit, Balara. Hô Phan, Hô Phan.
वेलकम ऑल। हमारे बीच मौजूद है हमारे गेस्ट, मैं उनका परिचय आप सबसे कराना चाहूँगी। हमारे बीच मौजूद है मिस्टर सहदेव यादव सर, प्रेसिडेंट इंडियन वेट लिफ्टिंग फेडरेशन, ट्रेजरर इंडियन ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट कॉमनवेल्थ वेट लिफ्टिंग फेडरेशन, असिस्टेंट टू प्रेसिडेंट एशियन वेट लिफ्टिंग फेडरेशन। इनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी डायरेक्टर ऑफ कंपटीशन मिस्टर शंभू सेठ सर को कि उनका स्वागत करें। एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए मिस्टर सहदेव यादव सर के लिए। हमारे बीच मौजूद है मिसेस सबीना यादव मैम, प्रेसिडेंट यूपी वेटलिफ्टिंग एसोसिएशन एंड इंटरनेशनल रेफरी कैटेगरी 1। उनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिसेस भवनी धांडू मैम को कि आए और उनका स्वागत करें। एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए मिसेस सबीना यादव मैम के लिए। भारत की परंपरा है कि अतिथि देवो भव, तो मैं चाहूंगी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए हमारे अतिथियों के लिए। हमारे बीच मौजूद है मिस्टर कुलदीप वत्स सर, प्रेसिडेंट दिल्ली ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन। एक बार जोरदार ताली हो जाए मिस्टर कुलदीप वत्स सर के लिए। उनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस्टर मुरलीधर चौधरी सर, ट्रेजरर WAI। थैंक यू सो मच। हमारे बीच मौजूद है मिस्टर अरुण कुमार सर, ट्रेजरर राजस्थान स्टेट ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन। एक बार जोरदार ताली हो जाए मिस्टर अरुण कुमार सर के लिए। उनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस्टर हीरानंद कटारिया जी, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट WAI को, कि वो मंच पर आए और सर का स्वागत करें। थैंक यू सो मच सर। हमारे बीच मौजूद है मिसेस सरोज शर्मा मैम, CDM दिल्ली। उनके स्वागत के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिसेस भवनी धांडू मैम को कि आए और उनका स्वागत करें। एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए मिसेस सरोज शर्मा मैम के लिए। Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. And we heartily welcome all the guests present over the stage. Welcome you all in 38 National Games Uttarakhand 2025.
Next bout below 90 kg, Nitesh Haryana red side, Rohit Haryana blue side. Next to next, Harbir Haryana red side, Abhishek Tawar UP blue side.
DG! Goodbye! Chris! Chris! Ten! Chris! Ten! Chris! Come on. Ten! Cover! Chris! Ten! Lover! Chris! Ten! Chris! Ten! Lover! Chris! Ten! Chris! Ten! Chris! Ten!
First round win red side.
Hover! Hover! Yachi! Goodbye! Chris! Ten! Chris!
bout. Nitesh Haryana red side, Rohit Haryana blue side.
Ting! Kais!
Next to next bout, Harbir Haryana red side, Abhishek Tawar from UP blue side.
Kais! Ting! Kais! Ting! Ting!
Round and bout win, red side, Naveen SSCB. Nitesh Haryana red, Rohit Haryana blue. Platform judge, Mr. Shashank Pal from Delhi.
Bốc Phong, Lâm Phong. Bốc Phong, Lâm Phong. इसको टगिन दे
हाँ उंगली टूटी पड़ी है इसकी जब भी सीनियर है क्या
Easy. You pay. Hush.
Next bout, below 90 kg, Harbir Haryana red side, Abhishek Tawar, UP blue side. Next to next,
Hey.
Vineet Haryana red side, Kamran Mohammad,
Hush.
Jammu Kashmir blue side.
Hey.
All girls bout after lunch break.
You pay. Hush. Hey.
कर गया बराबर रोहित रोहित
Bốc Phong. You pay. Hush.
चल बाबू ने
Bye. Hey.
आ गया तेरे पॉइंट
Lâm Phong. You pay. Hush. Hey. You pay. Hush. Hey. You pay. Hush.
डंडा कर चाले उसको पीछे है
Take. Pay. Hey. Take. Hey. Take. Lưng vào. Pay. Hey. Take. Lưng vàng. Pay. Hey. Take. Hey. Take. You pay. Hey. Hey.
First round win, red side.
Ô Phong, Lân Phong. Ô Phong. TRZ, IP, hey. Take, ô Phong. IP, hey. Take, ô Phong.
Second round win, blue side. Bout goes to third round. Next bout, Harbir, Haryana, Abhishek, Tawar, UP. Next to next, Vineet, Haryana, red.
Ô Phong, Lân Phong.
Amran Mohammad, Jammu Kashmir, blue.
TRZ, Kisanji, UP, hey. Take. यूपी हाइस
बावने बांधे
Hey, Lâm Phàm, यूपी हाइस
चल बावन 4-0 हो गए
Hey, Hồ Phạm, यूपी हाइस Hey, Hồ Phạm, यूपी हाइस
All girls bout after lunch break.
यूपी हाइस यूपी हाइस Hey, Hồ Phạm, यूपी हाइस Hey, यूपी हाइस Hey, हाइस Hey, Lâm Phàm, यूपी हाइस Hey, यूपी हाइस Hey, Lâm Phàm, first one for holding. यूपी हाइस Hey, यूपी हाइस Hey, Lâm Phàm, यूपी हाइस Hey, Lâm Phàm, यूपी हाइस Hey, change. अरे Lâm Phàm,
Round and bout win red side. Nitesh from Haryana. Harbir Haryana. Abhishek Tawar UP. Next bout Vineet Haryana. Kamran Mohammad Jammu Kashmir blue side. Platform judge Mr. Vijay from Uttarakhand.
Hong Fong, Long Fong.
Vineet Haryana red, Kamran blue.
Hong Fong.
Bout win blue side. Abhishek Tawar UP. Vineet Haryana Red, Kamran, Jammu Kashmir. Blue. Bout number 124. Next bout. Today's morning session last bout. Plus 90 kg male. Manjul SSCB. Red side. Shahil.
Hong Kong.
Uttarakhand.
Hong Kong, Long Fong. Hong Kong. Long Fong. DC. Repeat. Kush.
Manjul SSCB. Red.
Ting.
Sahil Uttarakhand. Blue.
Kush.
Sahil Uttarakhand. Blue.
Ting.
Today's morning session last bout. All girls. Bout lunch break. After lunch break.
Kush. Ting. Kush. Ting. Ting. Kush. Ting. Kush. Ting. Kush. Ting. Hong Kong. Kush. Ting. Hong Kong. Kush. Ting. 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 Kush. Ting.
First round win. Blue side.
ये लाइव पे चल रहा है। आपका अभी यही सब है। अच्छा, लाइव मतलब टीवी के लिए या कैसे? यूट्यूब चलाते हैं, यूट्यूब वगैरह यूट्यूब वगैरह भी करते हैं। अच्छा अच्छा, खाली एलईडी जाके। अच्छा,
Hoffer, Loffer. Hoffer, Loffer. Yachi. People, Kais. Ding. Hoffer. Kais. Ding. Loffer. Kais. Ding. Ding. Kais. Ding. Kais. Ding. Kais. Ding. 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 Hoffer.
Okay.
Kais. Ding. Hoffer. I, er, san, si, hu, liu, chi, ba, ziu, si.
Change. Right side. Round and bout in blue side. Kamran from Jammu Kashmir.
वैसे समय लगा ना करा था।
Anish Giri comes to the board. He is right now playing this round against Praggnanandhaa. In comes the CEO of Global Chess League, Samir Pathak, to wish him before the game. Anish had a rough start to this tournament when he lost to Gukesh in round 1. Then he managed to steady his ship but has had 7 draws in a row. So in this round number 9, he's on 3.5 points. He's still looking for his first win, and his opponent is going to be the leader of the tournament, Praggnanandhaa. Prag is leading the tournament along with Gukesh and Nodirbek Abdusattorov, and he has been in fantastic form in this event. So Anish will have his task cut out with the white pieces. Also, Anish's health is not up to the mark at this event, but you can see him early to the game adjusting pieces. A handshake. Praggnanandhaa is here, and Prag will be looking for a good game of chess because this is the last 4 rounds of the tournament, and if Prag manages to play well, he can be in the running for the first place. Off we go. D4 by Anish. Pushes his pawn to D4. Let's see what Prag responds back with. Prag adjusts all his pieces now. And that is something that all chess players do. But Prag is doing it quite a bit here. He's making sure. I think he's also thinking about what to play. And there he goes. Knight to F6. And Anish pushes his pawn to C4. One of the things about Anish Giri is that he is a very classical player. He likes to play openings which are solid, which are correct. Pawn push to D5. And now Anish plays his pawn to G3. The Catalan opening is on the board. And you give a check. So Anish comes back, and for the check, he decides to block with his bishop. Bishop to D2. And Prag has 2 options. One is to go back, the other is to take, or the third one, which is to push the pawn to A5. And he plays pawn to A5, protecting his bishop. Anish plays his bishop to G2. And black simply castles here. And now we have a slightly unusual move, although this has been seen before. Queen C1. Generally you play queen to C2, but here queen C1 is played. And Prag goes with his bishop back to E7. And castles it out here. Well, in certain specific lines, the queen on C1 is much better placed than the one on C2. And now rook to D1 played. Just putting the rook opposite the queen, it will be useful in future. Prag brings his knight out to D7. And Anish moves his bishop to F4. He's looking in this direction, putting a bishop on a good square. And Prag pushes his pawn to A4. Queen comes up to C2. The reason why Prag has pushed his pawn is also because later on he can get his queen out to A5. H6 played here by Prag. And Anish plays his pawn to A3. Well, maybe the pawn could become a potential weakness after knight C3. He brings in the queen to A5. Knight comes out to D2. And he plays knight to H5, attacking the bishop here. The bishop can simply drop back. Bishop to E3. And is Prag's idea F5, F4? He plays his bishop to D6. So Prag is playing this a little bit dangerously, especially because his bishop on C8 is undeveloped. While you can see Anish has brought all his pieces nicely into the game. So the opening is working out well for Anish. And now Prag plays a very, very provocative move, B5. And you can see there Anish comes back to the board and he realizes that one option is to take, play queen c6 attacking the rook and the bishop, but there is queen a6 defending everything. And he pushes his pawn to c5. This is an excellent move by Anish Giri because he attacks the bishop. And here the main problem that Pragg is going to face now is that this knight can be maneuvered via e1 to d3 to b4. But it's not so easy to spot it, and let's see if Anish Giri sees it. He finds it. He is an amazing player and he finds this move, knight to e1. And Pragg pushes his pawn to e5. He's like, I have play on the king side, I'll go e4, f5, f4 perhaps. Knight comes to d3. And here's the problem, if you play e4, I can definitely jump here, but I can also sacrifice and attack here when white is clearly better. So Pragg cannot push his pawn easily. He goes back knight to f6. And now he puts his knight on b4, attacking the pawn on c6 here. Anish gets up. And now the bishop comes to b7. He's defending the pawn on b7. Takes on e5. Knight takes, he takes with the bishop first. It's possible to also take with the knight, but then bishop d4 would have been very strong with e4 and f4 coming. So he takes with the bishop, and Anish plays his knight to f3, attacking here. Now if you were to go back here, then knight d4, and there's too much pressure on the c6 pawn. In fact, it's very difficult to even defend the position. So Pragg decides to go rook e8. He defends the bishop with his rook. And for Anish now, taking on e5 is not the best idea. He can go knight h4, coming into f5, and it's a very nice position. But Anish takes it. He takes on e5 and slightly lessens the load on Praggnanandhaa, because Pragg was low on space. Every trade is good for him. Rook takes e5 played by Pragg. He could have taken with the knight as well. Bishop d4, queen c7. The position remains quite fine for black. Rook e5. He plays bishop d4. For Pragg, what is nice in this position is that his pieces already have decent squares. So rook goes back to e7. Now he can bring the other rook to e8. And he would have some pressure. e3 played, a calm move. Now in the air are certain sacrifices here, which is knight d5, bishop d5, pawn d5 and c6. So have to be careful about those. Pragg brings his queen back to c7. Anish puts his queen on c3, very subtly putting pressure on this diagonal, which is quite irritating. Pragg goes knight to e5. The knight could be useful to come to c4. And now comes f4. And good or bad, the knight must jump here. Of course, bishop f6, g f6, queen f6 looks very risky. But somehow after rook e6, black is holding his own here. But a human move is knight d7 and Pragg plays it. Now knight d3 and trying to play knight f2 and e4 can be a very powerful idea here for Anish. But he takes on d5. He sacrifices his knight. And this looks very, very beautiful, but also seems like after knight d5, bishop takes d5, black can survive here, take. And now you're a piece down, so you get your piece back with c6. And an important moment now is to forget about this pawn on g7 and knight b6, or rook e8 would be much better, but instead f6 played by Pragg, a big error. Big mistake here by Pragg, because imagine if you go knight b6, takes, bishop g7, you have rook c8, and you are doing very well in this position, because somehow black has, it's a very tricky sharp line, but with f6 takes, queen takes b7, the problem now is you have landed in a one-sided position where you have no activity. Queen c7, Anish just puts his queen in, and this is game over, because it's not over, but it's really bad position. Knight to f8, because Anish Giri now has a fantastic bishop here on d4, and also his rooks are very powerfully positioned. Plays his bishop to c3, stopping any counterplay with b4, attacking the pawn on d5. He plays his rook to d8, defending the pawn. It's a position for two results now. Anish can keep pressing endlessly, while Pragg has the not so envious task of defending. Bishop a5 played, attacking the rook. And now rook to e8. He's attacking the pawn here on e3, but it can be defended with king f2. So king comes up. Now the rook defends the pawn on d7. Can we simply go in rook c5, attacking b5 and d5? Yes, he plays it. Rook c5 on the board. Anish is actually completely zoned in. I think he's even forgotten that his health is not so great. You don't want to be trading the d5 pawn for the e3 pawn. Which is why he comes back rook to c3. Maybe there was also rook d3, but then d4 would have been a bit shaky position. So rook c3, Pragg goes rook d7, and rook comes to d3, attacking the d5 pawn. We are moving close to the 40 move mark, where both players will get 50 extra minutes. Rook a5, rook a8, attacking the bishop on a5. Anish plays his bishop back to b4. And Pragg comes back with his rook to d8, defending the d5 pawn. And now new ideas have to be found to make progress. I think Anish trying to show here that he's the man in control by repeating the position and reaching move number 40. And Pragg, of course, repeats it with rook a8. Anish brings his bishop back to b4. The bishop is well positioned. The pawn on d5 is hanging once again. It seems like Pragg has to come back with his rook. And now he takes the open file with rook c1. Pragg pushes the pawn to d4, trying to get some counterplay going. Well, if you take, black cannot take here because of rook c8. So actually taking the pawn is not at all a bad idea here for Anish. But after some thought, he pushes his pawn to e4. He doesn't want to take the pawn. And this is also a decent decision there by Anish. But it feels like Pragg has some chances. He goes g5. Another way to play was just to play king f7, knight e6, maybe g6, just hang in there. But g5 is a very active move. King comes up to f3. Pragg has certain devious plans in mind. Rook e8 played. One of them is that he could go like knight e6, and if f5 there is g4 check and the knight gets this square. But for now he's played his rook to e8. He's keeping some eye on the e pawn, and Anish has to calculate whether g4, king g4, rook e4 is bad for him. He finds a fantastic move here, h4. The reason why this move is excellent is because now after knight e6, you see, I can push f5. You don't have g4 check because now there's no knight g5 in the position. h4 is very strong. So Anish finds it. He pushes his pawn to f5, an excellent move. Pragg goes back to d8, and he's hoping to put his knight on better route. I don't know if it can get to c6. He would be super happy, but that's not happening anytime soon. And Anish now has a winning move at his disposal, which is rook c8. And he finds it. Rook c8 is on the board. Anish Giri, excellent move here. I think Pragg seems to have miscalculated something. He thought that in this position he can play g4 check, which is what he plays. And now if king g4, black is back in the game with rook e4 check. And if the king goes back, then rook e4 is hanging. But king f4 is the move that Pragg thought he could go knight e6 perhaps, takes rook c8, but then he's losing his own rook. So actually king f4 works. He pushes h5. Now Pragg has some thoughts in his mind, like if the bishop is not here, rook e7 takes here could be very strong. Bishop c5. Anish is very, very accurate. He doesn't fall for this bishop c3 trap because take, cb2, and it's black who's winning. Because next up is knight e6 check. So plays bishop c5. Pragg now goes rook b7. Not a move that you make happily. Rook d4. Anish very sharp here. Picks up a pawn. And Pragg now gives a check. He's going to win the exchange. He takes on e6. Rook takes c8. And Anish pushes rook d5, defending the bishop here. And the main problem that Pragg faces, rook c7, attacking the bishop again, is that his pawns on h5, g4, all are very, very weak. Anish pushes his pawn to e7 so that if rook takes c5, he can take, rook takes, there's a queen. Goes rook e8. Take on h5. King f7. And king takes g4. And now Pragg brings his king up. So white has 3 pawns already, for 3 pawns and a bishop for a rook. Rook comes to d5. And now rook c8 played. Black is trying to be as solid as possible, but the problem now is that the king side pawns are just very strong. Pragg goes rook h8. Pawn to h5. The rook defends the pawn, and now g4 coming up next. So rook g8. Pragg already senses it that his position is pretty bad here. And Anish is being super careful for every move that he's playing. He's just making sure that he makes no errors. Rook e8. And rook to f5 played. So maybe at the right moment, Anish would just move his bishop back to d4 and attack the f6 pawn, rook c8, and give up his pawn on e7, but that would mean that he would then be able to start rolling his pawns. So bishop d4, if king takes e7, there's bishop takes f6 check. So take, bishop takes f6, and next up you go g5, h6, and the pawns are just rolling down the board. h6 played here by Anish, and it's time to throw in the towel here for Praggnanandhaa. He thinks for a bit and resigns. Anish Giri scores his first win of Tata Steel Chess 2025, and what a victory this was. Just amazing chess. Played a flawless game of chess almost there, Anish. Yes, Pragg could have defended better at several occasions, but somehow Anish's pressure right from the opening was a bit too much to handle. And what I like about both of them, they are very good friends of each other, is that they always like to discuss. And Anish, no matter whether he loses or wins, discusses. Pragg also, whether he wins or loses, always discusses. And that is the nice thing. The point here for Pragg to worry a bit about is that his tournament was going so well, and he was a bit worried that, you know, the second half should also go well. Generally he messes up during the second half, and that's exactly what has happened. But he has an opportunity to come back tomorrow and strike, because if he manages to do that, he would be back in the race. But this loss has come at an unfortunate time for Pragg. Meanwhile, for Anish, he moves to 50% score, 4.5 out of 9. 1.5 points behind the leader, so maybe fighting for the top spot might not be easy, but who knows, you get a couple of wins in and suddenly you're very, very close there. There are 4 more rounds to go, and for now, I hope you enjoyed this game. Anish Giri with a nice play there, and Pragg has to fight back in the tournament. Welcome everyone to the bullet section. Arjun currently leads the match 12-11, and 30 minutes of bullet. c4, c6. We have the knight coming out, and the Slough defense is on the board. Knight comes out to c3, and Arjun takes the pawn. Gukesh pushes his pawn to a4. Bishop f5. This is one of the main lines of the Slough defense, and f3 is a very, very sharp line, because this entails the sacrifice of a piece, which we shall see now. Bishop takes e4, fe4, knight e4, and now you have to be careful about this check. So bishop d2, the queen comes in, both of them playing super fast. This is all well-known theory. King takes, check, king c1, and now Arjun pauses a bit. b5 is a possible move, and he plays it, defending his c4 pawn. If we count the number of pawns right now, white has a piece for black's 4 pawns. Knight comes out to d7, Gukesh takes it, Arjun takes it back, and rook comes to a3, and black castles. Now, are these pawns more dangerous, or is the piece better, is the question. Arjun thinking a bit. Look at Gukesh's time. He has 1 minute 12 seconds. It's clear that Arjun is a better bullet player here, but Gukesh is showing that he can play super fast. For now, the position is roundabout even, putting your bishop on e4 and then slowly trying to switch your rook, start pushing your kingside pawn. Seems like the right way to continue. He goes h5. Arjun pushes his pawn to h6 and g5. Gukesh taking a lot of risk here. Takes here. Now he has 5 pawns here, Arjun. But his king looks slightly weakened. The h file is open. g6 played. Now can you somehow manage to checkmate this king? Because if you play h7, king g7 or king h8, if you come in with a check, I have f6. Arjun taking the queen in his hand. He's thinking these pawns are going to soon start rolling down the board. Gukesh now pausing a bit and h7 played. King comes to h8, blocking the pawn. It's amazing how Arjun has all his pawns on the board still. None of them have been traded. Queen comes to c2. And now queen d4. Nice move. Nice centralizing move. It's pretty clear that the attack has gone nowhere and Arjun's position is much better. But Gukesh must continue playing, continue to create tricks, because that's what bullet is all about. Rook comes to g3. Now attacking the g5 pawn. He pushes it forward. Now f5, e5. Everything will start to roll. Gukesh down to 18 seconds, 17, 16. It's 2 seconds increment per move. So there is some increment there. You won't lose on time. Queen e2, attacking the pawn on g4. You can't play f5 because taking this is too risky. The rook would come to e8. But instead he goes c3, rook takes g4 and queen d2. Now take the queen and the position is still fine. He takes it. Rook takes d2 and take on c3. No, he takes on c6. That's a big mistake. King a1 and b3, and these pawns are just too strong now. Rook c4 played. A check comes in. Another check. King c1, and now there are many ways to win this position. He goes rook d8. Very strong move. The rooks are very powerful. Gukesh down to 3 seconds. He moves his rook up but gets checkmated in one move. And Arjun takes 1 point here. He's now leading 13-11 here in the match. But it was a great try by Gukesh trying to play fast. Let's see what the second game holds for us. We move on to second game of bullet. Arjun now leads the match 13-11. Gukesh needs to strike back. It's important. Arjun looking very calm, focused. He feels like a man who's in his terrain. Gukesh adjusts all his pieces. 1 minute plus 2 seconds increment here. Let's see how this goes. They shake hands and off we go. e4, c5. We have the Sicilian. Knight f3, knight c6. The pawn comes up. And we're going to see perhaps the Sveshnikov. Yes, Sveshnikov it is. d6, bishop g5, a6, knight a3, b5. The speed at which both the players are playing is immense. He castles, knight comes back to c2, and this is all well-known theory. Rook b8 played by Gukesh. You can put your bishop out, but h4 is also a very cool move. Gukesh goes g6 and now g3 played. The bishop drops back, and do you want to trade this bishop with bishop h3? No, he goes h5, trying to soften up the black king side. The knight in the center is well placed. Maybe you want to trade it with knight e7. Gukesh slowing down a bit. I think that's his strategy. Play very quickly in the opening, gain some time, and then start to think. Arjun takes. I guess you want to take back with the h-pawn, maintaining the integrity of your pawn structure. He takes back, h takes g6. And Arjun plays the very calm move a3. Maybe he wants to go knight b4 next. That's the reason why he played this, so that after knight takes, he can take back with his a pawn, attacking the pawn on a6. Yes, he goes for knight b4. Very powerful move, because if you play rook c8 to defend this knight, then the a6 pawn is hanging. So suddenly Gukesh, under some pressure, this move queen g5 did not really sit well with the position. What to do next is the question. Do you want to take here on b4 or not? 32 seconds for Gukesh. He goes rook c8, but now the a6 pawn is hanging. After that, the b5 pawn would also be hanging. Gukesh would have to do something in the center because the white king is still on e1. But queen d2, very calm, cool move, practical move by Arjun, wanting to trade the queens. Also, that would weaken the e7 square. Take. Now be careful, Gukesh, because takes, there is knight e7 and you will lose this. So maybe bishop d5 seems like the best move, but already this position does feel a bit dangerous. Look at Gukesh coming down to a last 7 seconds. 6, knight takes, and rook e8 played, but the knight is completely dominant. Now attacking the rook here. Rook comes to d8, and he jumps in to c7 and chops off the pawn on a6. How can Gukesh fight back? He has just 6 seconds. He opens the center. Rook takes, but the white king will safely be placed on c2. He goes to e2, and now can he start pushing the pawn? Yes, he does. Black still in with some chances. Rook d1, very powerful move, trying to trade off pieces. Rook g5 played. Gukesh just has 5 seconds. Very difficult position here to play. Arjun has 24 seconds and also an extra pawn. He goes bishop d7. Now knight d4 check would have been such a good move, but knight e5 he takes here. Of course, with such little time, it's very difficult to think. Check comes in, king g7, and now the other rook joins in, threatening a checkmate, and he resigns here. Gukesh loses the second bullet game. Arjun takes the lead 14-11. Wow, what a game that was by Arjun. Almost flawless there. Gukesh had one chance, but he did not find it. Let's go to the third game. With a 3-point lead in the match, Arjun is looking very relaxed, but Gukesh still has his chances because we will be playing at least 4 bullet games. We have the Sicilian now on the board. Knight comes out to f6, knight c3, knight c6 played, and a3 here. Gukesh needs to be focused. This is a key and a crucial game for him to come back. The score is right now 14-11 in the favor of Arjun Erigaisi. Knight takes on d5, and now knight takes d5 is possible. Knight takes c6 is also possible, but Gukesh pauses a bit. He's trying to recollect the theory here. He takes on c6, pawn takes back, and now knight e4. So white seems to have gotten a small edge out of the opening because of the better pawn structure, but now f5 would be possible just to kick the knight from the center, but bishop a6 played. Now if you take here, I want to simply give a check and take it back. So he castles, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3 is on the board. And Arjun now planning to also castle. No, he first goes knight f6, offering a queen trade. For Gukesh, there's also pressure of playing for the match because the position is equal. He can exchange the queens, he can exchange the knights and then play calmly. But on the other hand, he wants to play for a win as well. Takes, and maybe now keeping the queens on the board with queen e2. It's not such a bad idea. He goes queen e2. He was going to go to f3, but then decided against it. Castles, pawn to c3, just limiting this bishop. You have the queen side majority. The c6 pawn is slightly weak. Bishop e3, attacking the queen now. Queen comes to b5. Arjun offers the queen trade, but Gukesh refuses it. He wants to play b4 followed by c4 or a4. Rook b8 played, and now b4 is on the board. Now a7 pawn is hanging, so he goes a5. I do feel that Gukesh's position has good potential. Here also he can go rook b1 or c4 or bishop c5. He goes bishop c5. Rook comes to the center. He pushes the queen away. Queen goes back. He has 12 seconds on the clock. Take. White has made some progress, but a beautiful move by Arjun, offering the trade of bishops. Now the b4 pawn would be weak. He takes. And Arjun thinking a bit whether he should exchange the rooks first. No, he goes queen e7. Now rook takes d8. Rook takes d8 and rook b1. Seems like a normal move. He goes queen a4. Indirectly defending b4 because there's tactics here on the d8 square. Like if you take queen takes b4, I can first take the rook and then your queen would be hanging. So Arjun thinks a bit. He has 5 seconds. Gukesh has 6 seconds. He takes on c6. Queen takes b4 played. Is the c pawn a strength or a weakness? h3 played. The queen comes back. Arjun is happy with the draw. He has a 3-point lead. Gukesh needs to keep trying. This is hanging. Rook b1 played. Queen c6, a queen trade, and then rook b4 would be better, but he comes back and Arjun's like, oh, that's a free pawn. He chops it off, and Gukesh is quite unhappy there because now he has to defend. Quite a difficult endgame here, being pawned down. He now takes the queen, pawn takes. The sad part about this format is that it's 30 minutes of bullet. You can see the timer there next to the players, and Gukesh has to spend time defending this endgame, and Arjun's not going to give him easy because he has the lead in the match, so he's just going to waste some time here playing this endgame. Rook a5 played, and now in comes a check. King d3, h5 played, and Gukesh is in quite a bit of trouble. King d7, check. Rook goes back to c7. He comes up. King d6, check. King d3, and the pawn comes up to g6. He pushes his pawn. This position is difficult now. Actually, black is pressing quite hard. King e5 should be a good move. He comes back, maybe not the best. Attacks the pawn. Exchanges happen. King comes to e6. He's waiting on the 7th rank. Now a check threatened, so that these pawns are attacked. He goes back. King e2, rook a3, king f2, pawn pushes forward. The rook goes back. This is great defense here by Gukesh, and Arjun, of course, trying very hard. Oops, the rook falls. He gives a check. King f7, puts his rook behind the pawn. Still a draw. You have to play it carefully. Check. King f2. Gukesh is doing it well. Arjun trying to come from the other side now. King f6. Check. King g2 played. And now the rook moves forward. Maybe you start pushing the pawn. Not yet. Check. King goes back. Gukesh has got a very tight defensive format here. Formation. King f4. But Arjun's trying. He's cut the king off now. Is this going to be dangerous? h5. Good move played by Gukesh. Simplifying the position. If you take on g3, I'll take on d4. So king f7. And he comes back to e4. Takes the pawn. Have to be careful here with what do you take. He takes with the king. Good move. h4. And rook goes back attacking the pawn. h3. King comes in. The king attacks the rook, and maybe now Gukesh can also attack the black rook. He's down to 3 seconds. Oof, plays king f4. And now the rook stays in there. King g4, and finally the pawn is lost and the game ends in a draw. Arjun keeps his lead and they have to go into the final 3 games of the bullet. Gukesh needs to win all of them. Look at how quickly he's rearranging his pieces. He wants to make sure that he gets maximum games here so that he has chances to win here. The score stands 14.5, 11.5 in the favor of Arjun. Gukesh in a must-win scenario here. Now adjusts his pieces. He has the black pieces. He needs to strike back. He did it in the blitz section. Can he do it in the bullet? A shake of hands and off we go. D4 by Arjun, knight f6, and we have the London system. Gukesh thinks for a bit, calms down, pushes his pawn and brings his bishop out. He trades it. Queen takes. Have to be careful for check here. E6. He's okay with giving up that pawn, but Arjun doesn't go for it. Knight d7. Castles. And now pawn pushes forward to c5. c3 played. The bishop comes out. The knight develops. You castle. Pawn to h3. h6. See both the players moving very quickly out of the opening. They just have a playable position here which is equal in nature. But e4, slightly dubious decision here by Arjun, because now he's going to be left with an isolated pawn. He can push his pawn forward, but then he's a bit worried about knight h5 move. So he takes, knight takes, queen takes, and now knight f6, but the b7 pawn is hanging, so you have to be careful here. Gukesh thinks for a bit about what needs to be done here. He plays his pawn to b5. d5 would have been a nice move here, but knight f6 hits the queen as well as the pawn, so it's not possible here. He goes bishop e5. And let's see how Gukesh continues. He may want to put his knight on the d5 square. That's exactly what he does. And Arjun brings the rook, threatening bishop c7, but the knight sits in. Now, black has a good position here. Just what Gukesh needed in this must-win game. Knight d2 played. Slowly, he can start putting pressure. Rook c8 is a good move. Bishop g5 played. Queen g4. The idea could be h4, putting pressure down to the g7 pawn. He goes queen d7, and now h4, bishop f6, and knight e4 could be a nice way to continue as white. But he goes queen g3, and Gukesh pushes the bishop away with f6. There's pressure down here. You can't go back, so you have to go to c7 or d6. In fact, d6 much better. Then you can put your bishop here, but he goes to c7. That's not a good move because rook can come in now. He goes rook c8, and if you move the bishop, I can take and pick up the knight. So maybe you have to go to a5. He does it, but with a5, take, rook takes, b4, suddenly the knight is hanging. It's pinned here. The bishop's path is blocked. The bishop could also get trapped. Arjun Erigaisi in big trouble here. Queen d3 played, but now just queen b5 would be very solid. He goes queen a4, which is also strong, attacking the bishop and the pawn. Arjun is almost lost here. He loses the exchange. He takes the pawn, threatening to take on e6. Maybe knight f4 is just winning completely here. But Gukesh thinks for a bit. He has enough time. He comes back queen d7. Arjun takes back the exchange, but Gukesh is still completely winning. Queen f1 played. Now can you come in with the queen inside in the position? Yes, he does. Gukesh does feel a little bit underconfident after having lost couple of games in bullet, but this one is for him to win. He would then narrow down the score to just 2 points difference. Queen takes d4 is hanging. He can take the queen as well, but he takes the pawn. Queen e1, attacking the pawn on e6. He goes knight f4, good move. And now, he goes a3 at just 2 seconds on the clock. Queen e3, play queen d1 and knight e2 to try and checkmate, but he exchanges the queen. And now, this position is not that trivial to win because there are two pawns which are passed here. Bishop c3, he comes rook c5, knight b4. This is not easy. Gukesh has to start making his kingside pawns to roll. And Arjun is so good. He's just not letting Gukesh exchange off the pieces. King d3, f5. And he plays his knight back. Maybe wanting to start to push the queenside pawns with b4, a4. Gukesh has 10 seconds. He goes g5, b4 is played. Black is still winning, but it's not easy. f4 played. And look at Arjun's pawns. They seem much more flexible and free to move. b5, he goes rook c7. Now knight b4, coming into c6. He plays it. Beautiful chess there. Rook c1 and takes. He takes with the g pawn. Now Gukesh also has a passer, but the b pawn is tremendously strong. Now the a pawn is joining in. These pawns are queening. Rook a1, trying to stop the pawns. Bishop f2 would be very powerful, but he goes knight c6. Rook check. King goes back. Bring the king closer. No, he pushes his e pawn. Bishop comes to b4, attacking the knight. Now the knight jumps back, but can he push his b pawn? Yes, he does. King comes up, but makes a queen. He takes back from a completely winning position. Now it's equal. He attacks this. The bishop and the knight. Knight a6, the only move. Arjun finds it. Now king attacks here. Bishop goes back. Pawn coming to e3. Which pawn is stronger? King d3. Oh my goodness. Is the e pawn stronger or the a pawn? Knight d5 attacking here. And Arjun is happy with a draw. For sure. Gukesh wants to win. And look at Gukesh there. He's like, what kind of resistance is this, Arjun? Down to 1 second. Oh, finds king e5. a6. He goes rook b3. And now knight b5 is winning. But he pushes a7. Rook comes back. And just rook a2. This is drawn now. But first bishop b4. Threatening knight a3. You have to go back rook a6. But he goes king e4. And now knight c3. Check would win the rook. But he goes knight a3. There's a check, check, check and a draw. But instead, he goes king d3, makes a queen because check would be met with bishop e1 and Gukesh resigns. What a game that was. Arjun was completely lost, but with this, he takes 4 points lead, which will be not possible for Gukesh to cover up with the remaining time. And I think Arjun, with a smile on the face, he knows he's taken this match. For Gukesh to win this match is close to impossible now because there is not enough time to cover the 4-point deficit. But he definitely would want to pull one bullet game back against Arjun. Arjun has scored 3.5 points in this format already. And game opens with 1 e4. We have the French defense on the board. Knight c3. Knight f6, e5 and the main move is knight d7 but Arjun goes knight e4 which is kind of a dubious line. But for bullet it should be completely fine. b6 play. Gukesh puts his bishop there. He looks very calm now because now he has nothing much to lose. He castles and Arjun of course would want to continue his dominance in this format. Queen comes into h4 and you can see Gukesh very calmly playing queen d2. Maybe some ideas to trap the queen here. Bishop comes to e7 and he plays his knight to c3. The e4 pawn is currently well defended but white has very strong center control. Arjun long castles. Now how dangerous is this? Knight e5 was a threat, taking advantage of the spin, so he goes bishop f4. But now g5, you can start rolling your pawns. g5 played, bishop comes back, queen to g4. Maybe knight d1 to e3 is a very good maneuver here. But black has the ideas of h5, h4. So Gukesh should remain very careful here. 44 seconds for both players. Gukesh may be wanting to bring his bishop back to e2 but then the queen would go back. Yes, queen f5 and he pushes f3. This is a very good move because if you take, I'll take back with the bishop, exchanging an important defender and opening up the f file towards the f pawn. So f3, very very powerful move. making Arjun think. This is a difficult moment for Arjun. He has to perhaps give up a pawn, and he finds the best move, h5, giving up a pawn, bringing his queen back. Now he would want to use his kingside pawns here. h3 might be the best move, but it's so difficult to play these moves with the pawns rolling. So he goes queen e3, h4, bishop comes back, g4. Very, very powerful pawns here. Rook will come to g8, threatening g3, then h3. Wow. Gukesh in trouble. Although he's a pawn up. He goes queen f4. Maybe wanting to go bishop e3 and putting pressure on f7. g3, fantastic move. And now take on h2 followed by rook g8, h3. These are very, very good moves here for Arjun. But he goes h3, which is also not at all bad. Will Gukesh now take on g3 with his queen? Maybe. But then there is hg2 opening up the king. So he takes here. And now rook dg8. An important move to be played. Just bringing his rook in. But Arjun tries to double on the h file. Do you want to trade queens? No, he goes, takes on h3. King comes up, attacking the rook. An important move here. And he brings his rook in, threatening rook h2. Gukesh says, I want to trade pieces because if you count the number of pawns, Gukesh is 2 pawns up. But now there's a lot of pressure down the h file. Queen takes h3, king f2. If check, you can go king e1 to d2. Plays f6. And Gukesh takes it. Knight takes f6. And he's trying to run away with the king. But rook f8. There was also a possibility to give a check first. But rook f8. Queen h4, queen g2, keep the queens. No, he trades. I think once the queens are traded, this is a difficult position now because pieces are getting traded. h4 is hanging, so he saves it. Material is even, but the quality of the pawns is clearly in white's favor. Look at this h passer. It's so strong. And this time, I think Gukesh has a simplified position. He finds a very good move, trading the bishops. Takes. King takes. Now the king is coming up. The h pawn is very strong. This is just winning. This is winning for Gukesh. Rook c1, very nice move, attacking c7. Rook c8, Arjun under pressure. What to do? He goes c6. There's b5, and this one seems to be going Gukesh's way. Just when he seems to have given up all the pressure of winning and all, Gukesh is now totally winning. King g6, rook to c6, attacking e6 pawn, and takes on e6. King goes back. The white king comes up, and now the h pawn is ready to queen. King g7, he brings his rook here. If king h8, there is check. Rook d7 makes a queen, and Arjun resigns. Gukesh gets his first bullet win. A bit too late for the match, but nonetheless a nice consolation victory. We move to the last bullet game with the score standing 15.5, 12.5 in Arjun's favor. The final game of the death match 2.0. Arjun Erigaisi on 15.5, Gukesh on 12.5, opens with e4, e5, knight comes to f3. We have the Italian on the board, bishop c5 by Gukesh, c3 played. Knight comes out, d3. Of course, Arjun would want to finish this with a win for himself, although he's already won the match, and Gukesh would love to score one more win here to end it on a high note for himself. If you see, Gukesh hasn't castled his king and goes for g5. This is a very risky way to play because he has weakened the f5 square. Arjun goes bishop b5. The bishop drops back to b6, and now the pawn moves to the center. Bishop comes back. The knight jumps in, looking at d5 and f5. Black is already in some big trouble here, right out of the opening. How is Gukesh going to deal with all of this pressure? Should he short castle? But then the knight is anyway jumping to d5, and after knight takes, pawn takes, the knight on c6 is hanging. He castles here. And now Arjun, he also jumps knight d5, takes, pawn takes. The knight goes back, but look at this pressure down to the e file. Takes on e5, Bishop b5 played. He takes back. Well, if you take back on e5, rook takes e5 is hanging, so knight d7, he pushes his pawn. White is a pawn up. Black king is weak. This is already game over. Bishop e3, good move, trading off the bishops. Arjun has a completely dominant position. Takes, rook takes e3. And now Gukesh, I guess he has to keep fighting, but the position is so tough. Knight d4, what a move. Knight is coming to f5. Knight is coming to c6. Black's position is filled with holes everywhere. Fe6, the pawn takes, so that after knight f5 or knight c6 you can push the pawn forward. Rook comes in, and Arjun now deciding where to go with his knight. He first plays queen e2, queen goes to h7, and c4 played. Arjun has more time on the clock, a better position on the board. Gukesh somehow just trying to hang in there. Triples the pieces down the e file. Rook e7, knight comes to c6, he goes back. Pawn to e7, attacking the rook. The rook comes up, he joins in with the rook. Queen f5 and h3. g4 is a big idea here in the position. He goes king at 7. And now knight d4, the queen is under big problems. He goes queen e3. Knight to d7, now knight d4 traps the queen. The queen doesn't really have a good square to go, but knight d8 played. He goes rook g7, he comes back, but that's a mistake because suddenly the rook is trapped. Oh my god, what a turnaround. Knight d4, he goes queen f7, attacking the rook. And now the rook does not have any space to go to, so they trade. And all of a sudden, it's actually Gukesh who has a better position now. It's around equal, but wow, from where have we reached where? King f2, you don't want to go rook e6 because of check. So rook f6, pawn to h4. And now rook f4, nice little move. He must give a check here. That seems like the normal way. King g7, take on f4 and play knight e6, attacking the pawns here. But he takes on g5. This allows the trade of rooks. Takes back. And now Arjun is completely lost because the rook is much superior to the knight. Pushes e5, take. King comes up and the rook jumps in. King f3, he gives a check, and Arjun resigns there. Gukesh ends with a win. The score is 15.5, 13.5, and Arjun is the winner of Deathmatch 2.0. Gukesh congratulates him. It was a tough fought match until the blitz section. Gukesh was also leading at some point, but then Arjun won the final blitz game and scored multiple wins in the bullet format. He was the superior player in bullet, but kudos to Gukesh for continuing to fight and in the end also winning 2 bullet games. He's truly a big fighter. Congratulations to both these youngsters for some phenomenal chess. See you all for Deathmatch 3.0 very soon.